Is Leon Rose planning to select Bronny James in this year's NBA draft to sign LeBron James in NBA free agency? We're going to break that down on today's show as Bleacher Report has listed the Knicks as a top destination for Bronny James. My question, though, to you before we start today's video is this. Would you draft Bronny in round 1 with pick 24 or pick 25 if it meant you got to sign LeBron James for the veteran minimum? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Welcome into Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by as we try to connect the dots on this interesting article from Bleacher Report. As we know, the Knicks have 2 picks in round 1, and they also own pick 38. And Bleacher Report thinks that the Knicks could be a top landing spot for Bronny James. This was the quote. They said, ever since Leon Rose took over basketball operations for the New York Knicks, their moves have typically been calculated, justifiable, and ultimately laudable. Gone are the days of attaching glitzy names to the Knicks simply because they're in New York. In some ways, Bronny fits the profile of a Tom Thibodeau guard to a T. At 6'1.5", he's undersized. Despite being LeBron's son, the number of fans and analysts betting against him makes him an underdog. Most importantly, he has the potential to be an NBA-level defender. I don't really agree with them saying that he's undersized, maybe because he's not a point guard, but he's got a 6'7.5" wingspan, and he's 210 pounds. The guy is built honestly, like an outside corner in the NFL. I think he's going to be a great defender in this league, and I think he's going to have a long career. Maybe not ever a star, probably not ever a star, maybe a role player, but there's always a spot on winning teams for those type of people. These were the top 5 destinations that Bleacher Report had. Number 1, pick 55 from the Los Angeles Lakers. Number 2, pick 41 in the 76ers. Bleacher Report put the Knicks as the 3rd most likely Bronny James destination as pick number 38 for the New York Knicks in round 2. And this is my thing. We know LeBron wants to team up with his son. That has been widely documented. We have seen that now for a couple of years. What is Leon Rose cooking up? What is Leon Rose chefing up right now in the kitchen? As you know, he was once the agent of LeBron James. And there was a meeting that took place back in February, earlier this year, between Clutch Sports and Leon Rose and CAA, because they have not been getting along recently. And I'm sure they talked about the trade deadline and if the Knicks could trade for any other players. But I think it would be pretty dumb to at least not assume that Bronny James was brought up in that conversation. 2 of the most calculated people and forward-thinking people in sports are Leon Rose and Rich Paul and LeBron James. If you don't think they were thinking about this upcoming summer, back in that meeting in February, I just think you're wrong, because that would be dumb for them not to talk about it. The Knicks have the 24th pick, 25th pick, and 38th pick in the draft. You could take Bronny at any of those spots. I think the only reason that you do take Bronny is to sign LeBron James. I'm not sure he's worthy if you don't get LeBron of selecting him 38th overall. Some people don't think he's draftable. I think he could have a solid career in the NBA as a defender, kind of like, I'll give you my NBA comp for him coming up in a second. But I do think it is interesting to know that Shams Charania reported that Bronny James has declined over 10 workouts with teams across the association and is only considering workouts with the Los Angeles Lakers and the Phoenix Suns. Does that mean those are the only 2 teams he would play for? Are they trying to keep this Knicks story under the headlines? I'm not sure, but it is my job to connect dots, and I'm going to try to do so. Let's talk about Bronny real quick. Didn't play all that much, to be honest with you, at USC, and he didn't play all that well. I think he's one of the players that his game actually translates more to the NBA level than the college level. I think he needs to be surrounded by talent. He needs to be an off-ball guard, a catch-and-shoot, 3-and-D type of player that can attack a closeout every once in a while. There's no sugarcoating it. These numbers are awful. 36.6% from the field, 26% from 3, and just 4.8 points per game in 19.3 minutes. Brian Windhorst said this about Bronny following his NBA Combine workout. He said he was very impressive with teams in individual meetings. Teams don't know him very well because he was kept out of the public eye and didn't really talk publicly at all. So they were trying to guess based on what they heard from other people and what he did on social media. He performed very well in those meetings. If I had to come up with a pro comp for Bronny, it would actually be Deuce McBride. Undersized guard that's more of an off-ball guard that is an elite defender and has some upside on the offensive end. At a bare minimum, you are getting a guy that's going to have an extremely high compete level, high IQ, knows what it's like to be a pro, can give you some good production on defense, and hit the occasional catch-and-shoot three. I don't know if he'll ever have the off-the-bounce offensive game that Deuce does. We saw him in the playoffs get to that midi whenever he wants, and I think Deuce is only going to get better and better in this league. But maybe a first 3-year Deuce McBride is who Bronny James could be, and that's nothing more than a second-round pick. But if drafting Bronny means that you are going to get LeBron James on your team for 1 year, maybe 2 years, would you take him number 1? Would you take him in the top 5? Would you take him in the top 10? I know this for a fact. If I'm on the clock at number 24 and I'm Leon Rose, and LeBron James has told me, if you select Bronny, I will come play for your team this year, how do you not take him? If drafting Bronny means you get to pair up LeBron James with this current roster and you don't got to get rid of anybody else, yeah, you pull the trigger. I'll tell you why in a second, but this is why you subscribe to the channel. If we get any more info about the draft, free agency, trade rumors, anything New York Knicks this offseason, we're going to break it down. Free, informative, entertaining updates every single day on the Orange and Blue. The most interesting part of this topic is the Knicks could run it back with Randall and Brunson and OG and Hart and Dante, Hartenstein, Mitch Robb, and sign LeBron in free agency, if it means he's willing to sign the vet minimum, which has been a rumor out there for quite some time. We'll unpack that in a second, but first I got to tell you guys about our proud sponsor, Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com and use prizepicks.com/CLNS and use that promo code CLNS. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use that promo code CLNS. What is Prize Picks? It's the #1 daily fantasy sports app in the game. All you do is create a lineup of 2 to 6 players, and you simply pick more or pick less on their projected stat line. And with the NBA Finals right around the corner, it's time to get hooked up and start playing. You can even toss a lineup in for Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. I think the Mavericks are going to close them out tonight, and I've got Luka having a big-time game, more than 3.5 three-pointers made. I think the savvy veteran Mike Conley will have more than 12.5 points as well. Now is the time to play Prize Picks. The NBA is heating up. Finals around the corner. MLB is starting to heat up as well. And it's always a good day to win some money. And you can do that based off of your sports IQ. Pick more, pick less, play Prize Picks. You have an opportunity to turn $10 into $100. Win big money, withdraw your winnings, support the show, support the sponsor. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. That'll be in the comments and description of today's show. The most fascinating angle to all of this is, one, LeBron James could be a Knick. Like, that's pretty crazy. I don't think this is all that likely. But if Bleacher Report can talk about it, you know what? We're going to talk about it on this channel. Let's be honest with ourselves. Even though he's 39, and even though if you're a Knicks fan, that means you hate him, LeBron James is still great. LeBron James is still a top 10 player in the NBA, in my humble opinion. And he showed that this year with the Lakers. I love the fact that LeBron played 71 games this past year. He was able to stay healthy and contribute in a major way, and it's probably the best regular season he's had in a couple of years now. The dude averaged at 39 years old 26, 7, and 8 on 54% from the deck and 41% from deep on 5 three-pointers a game. And he was great in the playoffs as well. 27.8 points per game, 6.8 rebounds, 8.8 assists, 56% from the field, and 38% from three. If you are able to add LeBron James next to Jalen Brunson, OG, Julius Randle, Hartenstein, Mitch, Dante, and Josh Hart, that team could probably win a championship. And I don't mean that team would win the championship. Let's just call a spade a spade. LeBron would likely have to sign, though, for the veteran minimum if this were to happen in real life. And I think if it meant that he gets to go play for the Knicks and he gets to go play with his son, and his son was a top 25 pick in the draft, I think he would seriously consider it. And I know this, if LeBron James seriously cares, like he talks about, as going down as the GOAT, I think one way to at least level the debate field between LeBron and Michael is for LeBron to win an NBA championship with the New York Knicks. He knows what that would mean to his legacy, and he knows what that would mean for the sport of basketball, winning the NBA Finals for the New York Knicks for the first time since 1972-1973. And he also knows that if he was surrounded by Brunson, Deuce, Dante, OG, Hart, Bogey, Randall, Hartenstein, and Mitch, that would maybe be the top 10, most talented top 10 people on a roster in the NBA. That team would be good. That team would be really, really good. And if you're a basketball purist like I am, watching Bron and Brunson would be poetic, man. Two guys that maybe have some of the highest IQs in this game, play the game the right way, do it how you're supposed to do it. Seeing these two guys on the same team, that would be pretty crazy. If I had to bet, though, I see LeBron James staying with the Lakers, and I see the Lakers drafting Bronny James. But I'll say it again. If Bronny is on the clock at pick 24, and you know if you select him, LeBron James is coming to play for the Knicks, even if it's for 1 year, even if it's for 2 years, you do it. I would even consider trading up, packaging 24 and 25 to get into the teens to make that happen. A lot of people want to run this team back, and I understand that. And I'm kind of there with you. Imagine if you could run it back and add LeBron James. Is it crazy? Yeah. But when you really think about it, it doesn't seem all that impossible. Make sure you are following me over on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on IG at @MarshallGreen_. Trying to grow my social media game this offseason, and I need your help. So hit me up over there, and let's go Knicks.